TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterates his plan to follow through on his election pledge to assert Israel's sovereignty over the country's eastern Jordan Valley. Lebanese Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri announced his decision to resign his post last night, declaring his failure to resolve a crisis that unleashed nationwide protests against the ruling elite, who subsequently plunged the country deeper into turmoil. Moscow announced that Kurdish forces had withdrawn from a safe zone near the northeastern Syrian border with Turkey ahead of the agreed-upon schedule. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated his plan to follow through on his election pledge to assert Israel's sovereignty over the country's eastern Jordan Valley. In remarks at a special session at Jerusalem's parliament, the Knesset, in memory of late IDF general and lawmaker Rehavam Ze'evi, Netanyahu insisted that sovereignty over the Jordan Valley, which together with the districts of Judea and Samaria make up the commonly known West Bank, is vital for the security of the Jewish state.
לא רק הרי השומרון חיוניים לקיומנו, גם שיפולי השומרון מזרחה, כולל בקעת הירדן, תמיד צריכים להישאר בידינו. הם נותנים לנו עומק אסטרטגי, הם נותנים לנו גובה אסטרטגי, והם גם משיבים חיים למדבר צחיח.
The Israeli leader further explained that security control over the strategic territory is necessary against the calamity of radical Islam in light of the situation across the volatile Middle East.
הבקעה היא חגורת מגן הכרחית, התריס בפני פורענות שעלולה לבוא מצד האסלאם הרדיקלי, ומי ישורנו מה ילד יום במזרח התיכון הסוער. ולכן נפעל להבטיח שבקעת הירדן תהיה חלק ממדינת ישראל הריבונית. נבטיח את ביטחונה, נבטיח את צמיחתה ושגשוגה.
His comments vis-a-vis the Jordan Valley came amid a visit to Israel by U.S. President Donald Trump's senior advisor and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who held separate meetings in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv with the Israeli Prime Minister and Likud chairman Benjamin Netanyahu and his domestic rival, former IDF Chief of Staff and Blue and White chairman Benny Gantz. Kushner, who has been spearheading the Trump administration's so-called deal of the century to end the decades-old Israeli-Palestinian conflict, is reportedly evaluating Jerusalem's political deadlock ahead of Washington's anticipated unveiling of its initiative's political dimension. In contrast to previous U.S. administrations, the senior White House advisor refused to rule out nor endorse Netanyahu's bid to assert Israel's sovereignty over the Jordan Valley. In an interview to Israel's domestic news channel 13, Kushner stressed that President Trump likes to keep his options open regarding ways of moving forward.
We understand how essential the Jordan Valley is to Israel's security, and obviously it's something that we're going to take into consideration.
Because when Netanyahu spoke, he spoke also not only about security, but also about sovereignty.
Look, if there's an actual proposal that's put forward, we'll look at it and we'll have discussions. But our hope is that after there's a government formation, we'll be able to look at the full comprehensive picture of what we would like to see. And it includes compromises from both sides, but also a lot of opportunities for both sides to move forward.
So you're not ruling out the possibility of some sort of annexation in the Jordan Valley?
Barak, we like to keep our options open. That's the Trumpian way.
It is important to know that Kushner did not provide a timetable nor a projection regarding President Trump's plan to unveil the political dimension of the long-awaited U.S.-devised initiative. Now in other news, just several days after the Jewish state and the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan marked 25 years to their historic peace treaty, which was signed on the 26th of October 1994, Amman has recalled its ambassador to Israel for consultations in protest over the arrest of 2 Jordanian citizens. The 2 Jordanian nationals in question, Hiba al-Abadi and Abdel Rahman, have been in Israeli custody under administrative detention for more than 2 months for alleged security offenses. Condemning Jerusalem and demanding their immediate release, Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi said that the 2 Jordanian citizens were being held illegally and inhumanely. The kingdom's top diplomat stressed that the decision to recall the ambassador was merely a first step. Separately, Jordan arrested an Israeli citizen who was said to have crossed into Israel's eastern neighbor illegally. According to several reports, Jordanian authorities arrested the Israeli civilian who was swimming in the Jordan River and allegedly crossed the Jordanian border after the current carried him to the river's eastern bank. He was taken by Jordanian security forces for further questioning. While the foreign ministry in Jerusalem did not immediately respond to the first matter, it informed TV7 regarding the latter incident that they are examining the report and are in contact with Jordanian authorities. Turning now to Israel's northern neighbor Lebanon, where Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri announced his decision to resign his post last night, declaring his failure to resolve a crisis that unleashed nationwide protests against the ruling elite, which subsequently plunged the country deeper into turmoil. The move by the outgoing prime minister, who is the leading Saudi-backed Sunni Muslim politician, points to rising political tensions that may complicate the formation of a new government at a time when Lebanon faces its worst economic crisis since its devastating civil war between 1975 and 1990. It is important to mention that the nationwide rallies, which were predominantly peaceful, are protesting widespread corruption among the country's political class, with many of them pointing a blaming finger toward Iran's Lebanese proxy Hezbollah. These allegations infuriated Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah. In a televised address last week, the Iranian-backed leader suggested the demonstrators were financed by Hezbollah's regional adversaries, including the United States and Israel, whom are exploiting the social unrest for their own agenda in Lebanon. These unfounded allegations have triggered a mob of the Shiite Muslim groups Hezbollah and Amal to attack a peaceful protest camp that was erected in central Beirut. The protest camp, which has been the focal point of the countrywide anti-government rallies, was overwhelmed by black-clad men wielding sticks and pipes in a clear show of force by the Hezbollah organization. This incident reportedly prompted Prime Minister al-Hariri to resign, wary of possible deterioration of the country into a sectarian civil war. The attack by the Iranian-backed Hezbollah and Amal loyalists was the most serious strife on the streets of Beirut since 2008, when Hezbollah fighters seized control of the capital in a brief eruption of armed conflict with Lebanese adversaries whom are loyal to Prime Minister al-Hariri and his allies. In tandem, Israeli security officials told TV7 that they are monitoring the situation in Lebanon closely and underscored that stability in Lebanon is essential to preserving calm on Israel's northern front. Now, with regard to Israel's northeastern neighbor, where Moscow announced that Kurdish forces had withdrawn from a safe zone near the northeastern Syrian border with Turkey ahead of the agreed-upon schedule. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu made these remarks during a meeting with his Armenian counterpart in the city of Yerevan.
На сегодняшний день, в соответствии с Сочинскими соглашениями и договоренностями между нашими президентами, я имею в виду президента России и Турции, досрочно закончен вывод с этих территорий, который должен быть коридор безопасности войск. Туда зашли и сирийские пограничники, и наша военная полиция.
Meanwhile, in Ankara, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan confirmed the Russian announcement, saying that Ankara will make every effort to end its military operation in northern Syria, while stressing that Turkey maintains open dialogue with Russia, the United States, and the West regarding its next steps.
Bir taraftan malum Amerika'yla, bir taraftan Rusya'yla 120 saatlik, 150 saatlik yapmış olduğumuz mutabakatlar şu anda bitmiş bulunuyor. Yarın yapılacak görüşmelerimiz var. Bunun yanında aynı şekilde Batı'yla yapmakta olduğumuz görüşmeler var. Bu görüşmelerle birlikte inşallah en kısa zamanda da neticeye varmayı hedefliyoruz. Biz kalmaya değil, tek hedefimiz var. Terör örgütlerinden buraları temizlemek için oradayız.
Thank you for watching us. Keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem and the salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan. Have a Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.